With costs going up, more Filipinos are pushing themselves to the limit just to survive. But one entrepreneur reminds us productivity should never come at the cost of mental health. For more on that, entrepreneur and author Dr. Ron Bedia joins us today. Good afternoon, Dr. Bedia. Thanks a lot for being here.
Good afternoon, Sir Stanley, and thank you for having me.
All right, pretty interesting topic here. Overworking, which we know for many Filipinos is not by choice, but more of a compulsion for survival, given how incomes now do not meet their needs. Now, how dire, Dr. Bedia, is the situation in terms of Filipinos being overworked?
You know, Sir Stanley, the situation is very serious. According to the 2024 Global Life Work Balance Index, the Philippines ranked 59th out of 60 countries with a score of just 27.46 out of 100. That tells us we are among the most overworked in the world. And this isn't always a matter of choice. Many Filipinos work long hours or take multiple jobs simply to survive because incomes do not keep up with the rising cost of food, housing, and education, and the long daily commutes and family responsibilities. And you have a workforce that is constantly stretched to the limit.
Okay, and I would imagine this is a situation cutting across all types of incomes, whether someone is a little affluent or someone is on the challenge side. We're really looking for incomes, additional incomes to augment the existing incomes or earnings that a household makes. Now, how crucial is it now for Filipinos to at least learn to draw the line between just being industrious, productive, and resilient to actually risking one's own mental health already? Given what you mentioned, we have all other factors aside from the work-related matters itself. You have the long commute, you have standards of living, quality of life, all coming into the picture.
Yeah, it's very crucial, Sir Stanley. Hard work and resilience are good values. But if pushed too far, they become harmful. The World Health Organization already recognizes burnout as a workplace condition. Medical studies also show that working 55 hours or more per week raises the risk of stroke by 35% and heart disease by 17%. So yes, being industrious is good, but there's a clear line. If your health and well-being is or are at risk, it is no longer productivity. It is danger.
Yes, it's good to know that a lot of organizations and corporations are trying to recognize now the perils of overworking. But just to give us an idea of the Philippine situation, can you perhaps share with us anecdotes or maybe common scenarios of overworking that you've encountered here?
Yeah, actually, when I was teaching and during my time as a manager in a private institution, I've actually encountered some most common scenarios of burnout. For example, employees responding to work chats and emails late at night, or teachers bringing paper work home every weekend, and government employees handling workloads beyond their official posts, and OFWs doing double shifts abroad. And yeah, by international standards, working more than 48 hours per week is already considered long hours. And many Filipino workers are far beyond that.
Okay, is it also because one is protecting one's reputation? Because it's different when you're working hard because you have to augment your income, but there are people, Filipinos, that also work hard, not because they have to, but because of the need for recognition of achievement, for being known to be dependable at work. That's why a lot of bosses call them at night and they still continue their work even off office hours. You have self-driven pressures, perhaps, for a lot of our currently young workers to achieve in certain areas in life, in one's career, for example.
Yeah, actually, Sir Stanley, that is another reality. Some people are not forced by circumstances, but by personal drive. They push themselves to achieve more, to get promoted, or to prove their worth. Ambition is healthy, but when it turns into perfectionism, it can backfire. research also shows that perfectionistic pressures are strongly linked to burnout and even depression. It's important to remind ourselves that self-worth should not be measured only by achievements.
Okay, do you see that as more pronounced in this generation compared to the previous generations where, you know, people watch the clock, they time in at 8 and they leave at 5. Now you have more people doing flexible hours, even flexible days at work.
Yeah, and yeah, those who are employees in Gen Z and at my age, you know, we believe that beyond the working hours, we actually have to work beyond that because we need some not just recognitions, but also we need to provide for our family and for our personal needs.
Okay, now Dr. Bedia, you have a book. Your book entitled Hindi Ka Robot tells today's Filipino workforce to pause, take stock of things that affect mental health. Please sum it up to us, at least the overarching message of what you've written.
Yeah. Hindi Ka Robot is my 9th book, and it is written for the working Filipino who feels tired, pressured, and burned out. It is a survival guide on how to set boundaries, protect your mental health, and still find joy in your work. I used Taglish on purpose. The book is filled with real stories from the workplace, practical tips, and simple exercises you can apply the same day. And at the heart of the book is a call for change, both workers and for employers, Sir Stanley, to create healthier, more humane workplaces in the Philippines and beyond.
And how are readers responding to what you've written? You've said, you know, you've written this in Taglish, very common ways of expressing and communicating. So are they liking the language of this book?
Yeah, some of those who already bought my book said that it's very madali intindihin and it's like kausap mo lang yung kaibigan mo. And for them, it's not a typical book. It's actually a conversational tone of the book that reminds them to share something that comes in your mind, and especially if you have something experiencing right now.
Okay, and I would imagine you have a lot of examples in that book, perhaps the subtle signs of a job burnout. Perhaps it tells us also when does one take a pause and what are the simple ways to deal with a job burnout.
There are simple but effective steps. First, prioritize sleep. At least 7 hours because poor sleep is linked to lower productivity and higher stress. And also take short breaks, even 5 minutes at work, and set boundaries. For example, don't respond to work chats after a certain hour, and talk to someone. Social support from friends, mentors, or counselors makes a big difference. And last, seek professional help when symptoms persist. Therapy is effective and should not be seen as a luxury.
Okay, I would imagine, you know, burned out workers on the one side, and on the other side, of course, of the equation are employers who drive results from workers extremely or in extreme manners. What is the role now of organizations in the Philippines in terms of promoting work-life balance or even mental health and still get the results they require of people? Are businesses now or corporations now more open to these possibilities?
You know, Sir Stanley, organizations and employers are key. Supporting mental health is not a cost. It's an investment. A Deloitte study found that every $1 spent on employee well-being can return about $4 in productivity and retention. Organizations can help by respecting rest hours, managing workloads fairly, offering flexible arrangements, and providing wellness programs. The truth is, when employees are healthy, they produce better results and stay loyal to the company and organization.
Okay, Dr. Bedia, it's important that you reach out to a lot of our young workers in particular. If one is suffering silently from mental health challenges arising from a toxic work environment, is there any group he or she may run to for help?
Yeah, you can contact NCMH, National Center for Mental Health, hotline 1553. You can also message Mental Health PH. And also, I do have my own advocacy. You can visit Usapang Positibo on Facebook. We also provide free online support and safe spaces.
And have you been getting a lot of inquiries out of the public from those services that you offer? I mean, are Filipinos now more open to talking about this with strangers?
Yes, Sir Stanley. Since the pandemic, we have at least 100 inquiries and 100 consultations per week from students and young adults.
Okay. And what have they been telling you?
Most of the time, they can't balance their personal life to their studies, academic works, and their job. So what we explain to them that we really need to have that kind of balance, not just for yourself, but also for your family. Because when time comes that you have this kind of mental health illness, it's hard for them to acknowledge, and it's hard for them to gain that support from other organizations and other mental health institutions.
And Dr. Bidia, all of those that you mentioned can be found on the book. If people are interested to read, where can one score a copy of Hindi Ka Robot?
Yeah, you can get a copy of Hindi Ka Robot at 8 Letters Bookstore and Publishing on different online shopping platforms, or you can message me on my social media at Doc Ron Bedia. And I also have my book launch and book signing at the Manila International Book Fair in SMX ground floor, booths 436 and 437 near the stage at the ground floor of SMX on September 13, 2 p.m. Hope to see you there.
All right. Dr. Ron Bedia, thank you so much for this conversation. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sir Stanley.